Hi guys, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the unboxing and I'll also give you my impressions. What do I feel about this smartphone? That is the Redmi Note 12 Pro. And guys, this is the I would say slightly little brother of the Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus, which came with the 200 megapixel camera sensor, and this also has actually a pretty good sensor. In fact, this is a review unit, so it came in this box, and they are touting a lot about, they say, super OIS. It has OIS with the rear facing camera, and it's actually having a very good sensor. That's a Sony IMX766. So I feel this is going to be a very practical smartphone, because not everybody requires a 200 megapixel camera sensors, I feel. So I feel this is an important smartphone. And guys, again, this first part of the video that what I'm shooting is prior to the launch, so I also do not know the pricing. And in fact, in terms of specs, this is very similar to the Plus. In fact, it has the same processor, Dimensity 1080. So we'll go a little bit in depth regarding the processor benchmarks and stuff, because I've used this one for the last 5 days with my primary SIM, and the battery life and the performance was good. So I'm hoping the same for this one, but we'll go a little bit more in depth regarding the Dimensity 1080. On this one, we'll run some benchmarks and stuff. And this is also having a 6.67 inch AMOLED screen, and again, this is also 120 Hz 10-bit panel that they're using, and also has adaptive sync, and they claim that this is Dolby Atmos and even Dolby Vision certified. This one has a 67 watt fast charger, which I feel is plenty. Yes, the Plus has 120, but this has that, and also IP protection, IP53. So let's open this up, and as I've told you guys, I don't know the exact pricing as of now because I'm shooting the video prior to the launch, but I'll add the pricing info here or in the description so that you can check it out. I'm expecting anywhere about 23 to 25,000 is what I'm expecting for this one. Anyways, let's open this up. We have a SIM ejector tool, some paperwork. I'll just put it to the side. We also get a case, transparent case, so that's actually nice. So it's a sticky transparent. This is the device itself. Immediately I feel this is slightly lighter, and actually, at least in this blue color, it looks a lot sleeker compared to the Plus version. The Plus version is slightly rounded at the back. If you notice, this is having a flat design, and this is also lighter to hold. Though this one is technically having a slightly bigger battery, 5000 milliamp hour. So first impressions, in hand feel, it feels nice, and the weight balance has been done very well on this smartphone. And it's slightly that shiny back that we're having, and it's a glass back, Gorilla Glass 5 that we are having even on this one. We'll come back to the device later on. Let's see, what do we get. We get a USB Type A to Type C charging cable. I'll just keep that. And as I've told you guys, we get a 67 watt fast charger in the box. So that's what it is. I'll just keep this to the side, and let's look at the handset itself. This one is also actually having stereo speakers. We'll have a look at that one. So we do have a 3.5mm headphone jack, so that's nice. A vent for the stereo speakers. We also have a secondary noise cancellation microphone. This is for the IR blaster, which again Redmi phones have. We have volume rockers up and down. This is the fingerprint cum power on off button. Gives a good tactile feel. Bottom again speaker, Type-C port, and storage. I doubt that it'll have a micro SD card because the Plus didn't have it, but let's look at it. So yeah, again, no micro SD card on this. So storage is what you get, but we have a rubber gasket on this one. So that's what it is. And this is clean, actually, nothing. Back, if we move, we have a triple camera setup. The main is, of course, the Sony IMX766, which is also having OIS. So we'll be testing that. Again, we have a 8 megapixel ultra wide, and our favorite 2 megapixel camera is still there, but it's not a depth sensor. It's at least a macro on this one, but still that 2 megapixel front is supposed to be a 16 megapixel shooter. So I'll just set this device, guys, and in the later part of the video we'll dwell into what is the performance of this smartphone. So again, I'll use it for a couple of days and then shoot the later part of the video. So guys, it's been approximately 1 week since I've been actually using this smartphone now with my primary SIM, so that I can give you a better overview about this one. And I'm using it with my Airtel SIM, and the good thing is that, guys, this is a 5G smartphone, and and out of the box 5G works on this smartphone. In this area I don't get a 5G signal, but when I move towards the city I do get that 5G signal on this one, so that way it's good. But one thing that I really liked on this smartphone, again, this is pretty light to hold, I would say, considering it has a 5000 milliamp hour battery. And one thing I liked is the screen on this one. This is having that 6.67 inch screen, and it's an AMOLED screen. Of course, it's a good quality AMOLED screen, but what I liked is that the quality of the screen is actually good. Oops, sorry, that's the problem. When you the Truecaller works actually very well. I'll just disconnect to the call. That's the problem when you use your primary SIM and review a device. So the memory management is good. True apps like Truecaller, MyGate, all those that want to reside in memory, they stay in memory. I was talking about the screen quality. I like the screen quality on this one, and Xiaomi calls this the Pro AMOLED. And the good thing is that this is a proper HDR screen. In fact, Dolby Vision certified. And I was surprised that even in Netflix, if I go, this is Netflix app, as you can see, and if you go to app settings, and if I go to playback specification, here it clearly says that it's HDR10, and even it's having Dolby Vision. So when we have HDR content on YouTube also we have, and especially on Netflix, the quality is very, very good. Another small thing that I liked about this smartphone, and this is because of the chipset also, the chipset supports this. This one is supporting dynamic refresh rate. Yes, it's a 120 hertz panel, and if you go to the settings, I used to also always go to the display settings generally, and actually here if you go to the refresh rate, by default I used to use it to the custom and go to 120 hertz. That's what I used to do. But on this phone, don't do that. Keep it on default, because what I've noticed is that this is actually having dynamic refresh rate. So automatically based on the content, the refresh rate changes to 30, 60, 90 or 120. That way you get actually very good battery life. And again, right now I think so it's auto scaling to 120, hence as you can see everything is very, very smooth. So that way they have optimized very well, and the screen quality that they have used is good. Fingerprint scanner is still this in this the side mounted, not the in display fingerprint scanner, but again this is really, really fast. So again, in terms of display, I have to say they have done a good job with this smartphone. Next thing I noticed is that as I was using with my primary smartphone, primary SIM Airtel, the call quality is actually pretty good on this smartphone. The earpiece was clear on this one, and many of you are asking me, by default it comes with the Google dialer only, but again, watch this video that I posted. You can install the third-party dialer on this one, and that way I feel the experience is a little bit better, but that's what it is. But the speakers are good. Let me actually show you. And again, on YouTube also you get HDR and all these things. Let's just go to copyright free songs, copyright free music, to give you an idea about the speakers. And again, let me just maximize it. So this is the stereo speaker, and it's actually pretty loud. And what I liked is, let me just pause it. Many of the smartphones, from the bottom speaker you get most of the volume, let's say 65-70% in this price range, and very little from here. But here this is having a dedicated port over here, so the stereo output is actually very, very good on this one. So that way they have done a good job. And yes, this is also having Dolby Atmos. And I completely forgot, you still get this 3.5mm headphone jack. So again, if you have good wired headphones, you will really enjoy it. So nice to see they have kept this one. Air Blaster is also there. I didn't use it, but it's there. Again, as it's a Xiaomi phone, it's running MiUi. As of now, it's running with Android 12. This will get the Android 13 and 14, and Xiaomi also told that next 4 years of security updates. I wish this came out of the box with Android 13, but that's what it is. But it's again very, very smooth, so that way they have optimized it well. Let's talk a little bit about Dimensity 1080, because this was the same chipset even on the Pro Plus, and there also it was very smooth. Here also, if you notice, it's actually very, very smooth. So they did spend the time to optimize it, and in fact I feel ISP is an improvement, I would say, on this Dimensity 1080, and because of that, so I'll show you some of the camera samples later on. The images that come out very good even in low lighting. I was not expecting that, so they have optimized it well with the new ISP that is on this one. And now coming to the performance was very good with this Dimensity 1080. It's based on 6nm process, and here are the specs. Again, as you can see, I took this screenshot from the MediaTek website, but again, these are just numbers. Let me actually show you some of the benchmarks that I have I've saved it. Let's just go here. Okay, where are the screenshots? Okay, here are the screenshots. So first I ran this PC Mark, and as you can see, we got a score of 11,629. I also ran Antutu, and we got a very healthy score, just above 5 lakhs, which is actually pretty good, as you can see. Another thing to notice that the handset does not heat up that much when you actually stresses. This is something I noticed, so that's a good thing. But again, in my testing in the last 6-7 days, it didn't. I didn't never notice the issue of overheating. So that way they have done it well. So Antutu score of about 5 lakhs. This is actually pretty good score. And I also ran. There was one more benchmark. This is again a 3D Mark. Okay, Geekbench 5 also I ran for single core 741 and multi-core 2194. So what does all this mean? This means the processor is actually pretty good on this one, and I also like the fact that it's actually pretty power efficient and does not heat up. I did play Call of Duty on this one, and I could actually take it to the high graphics settings, and as you can see, the gameplay was actually very good, a very smooth gameplay. So that way I would say, even if you do gaming, then it will be a nice experience. Another thing I liked, as I've told you, even after gaming, after the 15-20 minutes, the handset doesn't get actually hot. That is something that I noticed on some other handsets. So that way they have optimized it well. So the performance of the Dimensity 1080 on this phone is very good, and battery life again is pretty good, because the Dimensity 1080 based on 6nm process is a pretty efficient one. And I would say end of the day, I was always hovering about 35 to 40% battery left on this one, even when I was mostly on mobile data. So that way I would say the battery life is good. Easily should last about 1.5 days. And luckily we get the 67 watt charger in the box, so that's actually a good thing. So in terms of battery life, not an issue. And I like the weight balance of this phone. This is actually feels pretty light, considering it is having that 5000 milliamp hour battery. Let's talk about the camera, because this was actually a surprise to me, because they were just touting the 12 Pro Plus that was having the 200 megapixel a lot, but the camera on this one is actually no slouch. I was surprised with the performance of the camera on this one. It's a pretty good camera. Interface is almost very similar to the bigger brother, and like this, you go to the ultra wide and you get the 2x. This is actually digital, guys, not optical. And for again macro, for some reason you have to go from here. I don't get it. Why can't they have the macro link over here? Now let me actually show you some of the sample shots that I have taken with this device. First, some snaps taken outdoors, and outdoors, as you can see, it's actually doing a pretty good job. And the color reproduction is also good. It's not oversaturated, as you can see. This was around 6 just before the sunset, and this was at night around 10:30. In reality, this area was way more darker, but the picture it took, it brought out a lot of detail. And these were some sample shots taken in artificial lighting. And in artificial and indoor lighting conditions also, as you can see, it's actually doing a pretty good job. This was taken with the regular lens, and this was ultra wide. What I liked is that in even ultra wide, there is no color distortion. Human skin tones are also produced well. These are normal shots, and these were taken in the portrait bokeh mode. You can adjust the amount of bokeh, that is background blur. These were taken in my new office setup, and these are in completely artificial lighting. These are normal shots, and they came out good, as you can see. And these were same shots again in portrait bokeh mode. And I like that the bokeh mode is also done well in completely artificial lighting conditions. Now for some selfies taken with the 16 megapixel front facing camera. These were taken in normal mode, and these were taken with the portrait bokeh mode. So guys, this is the Redmi Note 12 Pro smartphone, and I feel this is a very practical smartphone in the new Redmi lineup. The pricing, we know the pricing, it starts at 25,000, but guys, if you have an ICICI credit card, they're giving a 3,000 rupees instant off, so it works out to about 22,000. And for the price of about 22,000, I feel it's actually a pretty good smartphone, I would say. And the surprising thing was that the camera performance is also actually pretty good on this one. If you're not too yes, we have that 200 megapixel one with the Pro Plus, but I think so for most of the user, the camera performance on this one is more than enough. So I feel this is a pretty practical device. But what do you guys think about the Redmi Note 12 Pro? Do let me know in the comment section below. Anyways guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.